What's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 4 of Jump to the Ball podcast. We are going to flip the script on Coach Green. He is usually our host, and we're going to just let me host one and interview him this time. So, Coach Green, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Life is good in quarantine, man. We just had a pre-conversation. We should have left it for this to kind of update everybody, but just kind of going over all the yard work and housework that we're getting done here. You?
Just hanging out at home, doing a little work around the house, cleaning up. Same thing. That good old quarantine life.
Jackie got a honey-do list for you?
No, thank God.
Okay, good for you. Good for you. You almost want one at this point.
Right.
Before we get started into the basketball aspect, I guess this is all about getting to know you, Coach Green. So, what you came from Milwaukee, 88.2 miles southwest, all the way down to Harlem here. So, what brought you from your point in your life where you were a player in Milwaukee to being a coach here at Harlem?
It's actually a very long journey to get to coaching here at Harlem. All started, of course, with my playing days, fifth grade in Milwaukee. Private school kid, played for St. Rose Catholic Urban Academy, um, all the way up until my high school days at Marquette University High School. Actually did some coaching while in high school, helping my dad coach my sister's team. Um, Ventured down to college in Nashville, Tennessee State University, where I really dipped into head coaching. Started
I never got to ask you. I'm sorry. Why Nashville? What brought you out there? Was it something that the college had to offer? Was it playing? What? Why Nashville?
Actually, it was one of my best friends who, our senior year, oh, this is a really good school, and I always wanted to get away for college, but then he ended up
Okay.
going to the University of Arizona, and I stayed in Nashville. So I was like, oh, well, okay, cool. But so started head coaching at about 19 for a upstart AAU program called the Tennessee Edge. Actually, it was a really good program. Not really one of your high end programs, but we got a lot of the local good players that didn't play for major um, programs down there and actually succeeded a lot. Took this group that started with me in sixth grade. By the time they were sophomores in college, or sorry, sophomores in high school, we played in this national tournament called YBOA. It's like just a little bit under the AAU national circuit, but we took second in state in Tennessee and ended up playing in the national tournament.
Awesome. So how did you get to Harlem? So I was thinking just Milwaukee to McChesney Park area here, and you went Milwaukee to Tennessee, now back to Harlem. So how did you get to Harlem from there?
It was meeting Jackie, and then
Okay.
meeting Jackie has all these mutual friends that led me into Mr. Luke Tassoni that kind of got my name into the Harlem circuit and started as an assistant, a seventh grade assistant, and worked my way up into the freshman head coach.
Did you enjoy the experience? I'm thinking back to my experience as a seventh and eighth grade head coach and just learning stuff. And for me, that was more of a learning part of my coaching process. For you, it was, I would think, kind of like a down, I don't want to say downgrade, but I mean, you were in a new system. It's kind of just how you had to get a foot in the door. But what was it like coaching seventh grade then after you had been working with high schoolers?
Definitely wasn't a downgrade.
I didn't mean it in a
Got
negative way at all. It was just, it was
yep,
what was open at the time. So,
got to build relationships with the sophomore, now junior class now. Got to experience like managing like time management a lot more too, because you know how the middle school schedule is. It's
yeah.
a 6 week season, so you got to get as much as you can in 6 weeks, or you're gonna fail really bad.
Right, coming right. It's literally starts the day after the football championship, so
Yep.
it's crazy. So personal achievements again. Before we get into more basketball stuff, you are currently pursuing or have finished pursuing your teaching degree. Where are you at with that?
I am 1 year away. just the student teaching aspect part of it, away from achieving second master's. This will be the master's in elementary education.
Okay.
So I'm gonna do that. Hopefully, I want to get endorsed in middle school because I would definitely want to get into the middle school as well.
Yeah, that lower and elementary, I want nothing to do with that. So if you're going into that, God bless you. That's, oh man. That's awesome. So what else are you juggling other than basketball? I know school commitment, you said second master, so you're kind of used to that grind, the commitment that it takes to be successful at that. And good luck with that. I know it's coming up quick here. What else are you juggling other than just your own academics and basketball?
Also a assistant for the football team right now too. Um, Praying to God that the quarantine lifts anytime soon because it really fears me going into a football season with little to no practices at all.
Could you imagine having 6 foot gaps between your line because of the
Oh my
spacing?
goodness. Oh my God.
Anything other
Hey,
than coaching
well,
football?
I
Go ahead.
also coach track for right now. We didn't get to have a season, so I mean that was a kind of a bummer.
Yeah. What about I know Alan's coming up here, your son Alan, he's going to be a Husky. What are you most excited about that? He comes every summer, so he kind of knows all the kids. He knows what we do. He knows the culture of our program for not only basketball, but football stuff too. I know some of our basketball guys that are multi-sport athletes have been working out with him, which is awesome to see. But what are you most excited about Alan being a Husky?
I'm excited to see what he can actually do as he's getting older. I know, like you said, a lot of the kids have been around him. He's always around the older kids. Um, and they like James Cooper actually trained him in football all summer last year. And James says he's going to be really good. I'm just excited to see what he can do on the football field and basketball court here in person for everybody to see too.
Yeah, I'm excited too. I've seen the development along the way, and you're more of a football guy than me in terms of what developments have been made and the progress and stuff like that. But again, shout out to James Cooper for working with him. He's excited about that stuff. He loves working with kids. I could definitely see him having some kind of coaching role later on in life, which is great. Any traditions that you're creating or adopting here as a coach? Maybe they're pregame traditions, maybe they're yearly traditions.
Um, Tradition would be the day before a game. We always have a lot of competitive competitions. Um, Always one team versus another, whether it's shooting drills, free throw competitions, anything to keep the spirits light, have fun, and keep the competitive edge going. Uh,
And
these kids
stuff
take
that go ahead.
these kids take these competitions serious. They talk crap. They have fun. It's always really fun.
Good. I think we're lacking some of that because kids play so many games throughout the year with AAU and open gyms and stuff like that. I just don't know that they value the competitive nature because there'll always be another game, which is really hard to instill in our seniors sometimes. That like, look, it's going to be over soon because they're so used to so many games throughout the year. So um, let's move on to basketball stuff. So pretty successful last season, I would say. 26-3 record, conference champs, tourney champs, and I don't know if you know this, but you've also been selected to receive the award for Tassoni's Coach of the Year at the freshman level. That award is in the mail. I know how much that you like trophies, so I'll make sure that I get one of those made for you.
Nice, nice. Can't wait. Is there a award ceremony with it too?
Yeah, but we will have, I think we're limited to under 25 people, so you're going to have to be really selective with who you invite. Yeah, I'll make sure that my family stays home. I know they're going to want to be a part of that, but I'll let you invite some of your family and friends. So, um, that successful record, there were 26 wins and only 3 losses. There's a quote that always comes to my mind for kids in terms of working, and that quote is, "Teams at the top of the mountain didn't fall there." So, what did you do? What did your team do to kind of make sure that this season was that successful and you kept striving to be at the top of the mountain?
The team actually in a summer came together really, really well. We were always missing pieces. A lot of pieces didn't come out and play in the summer, but that core group worked really, really hard, built a lot of leadership, and they knew the expectation going into the season. So it makes it so much easier with summer workouts when they know the expectation of the coaches, the coaching staff, the system, and they just come in and work. Now, I think what really kept it together is that me and Coach Whitener, we are we always preach complacency. Always preach complacency. It's really easy, especially for a freshman group when they have that much success starting in, especially in the beginning of the season. We started what 10-0.
Yeah.
They get complacent. Then they stop doing the little things, and then when they get that first loss, was it to East,
Yeah.
and it wakes them up, and they got that fire right back towards that later half of the season.
Right. And I know the season prior, I think you went on a 9 or 10 game win streak to start the season as well. And it was the injury bug that got you. And I don't know that we
Yep.
ever, or that you ever recovered from that one just because of the role that that kid played. I think depth on this freshman team that you had this year was a whole lot better. I was excited to see that. I was excited. I didn't know, if that loss was going to be that injury, I guess, you could say, to the mental injury, and if they were going to bounce back from that. But you guys did a great job. And I think the group that you had did a great job in dealing with that. Game prep stuff. I walk into your pregame player meeting. What's on the board every single game?
Number one, it's always energy and effort.
Okay.
Always in capital letters. I might even write it a couple of times. Uh, I don't care if you're the most talented team. I don't care if you're the least talented team. Energy and effort is going to keep you winning games or win and lose games. If you lack energy, if you lack effort, if you're not the first to get on the floor, you'll lose a lot more games than you'll win. Of course, as always, um, I say win the war on boards. So box out, get rebounds, limit turnovers. If you turn the ball over too much, you're losing a lot of possessions and giving your opposing team extra possessions here. I like to speed teams up, so a lot of traps or pressing, getting the ball in bad decision makers' hands, getting a lot of steals, scoring off defense.
So a lot of that
That
this season. I like that.
hmm
That's awesome. Any pregame rituals or superstitions? Yeah, you don't strike me as a superstitious guy, but I know some coaches have that stuff.
Not really superstitious at all. Um, I think pregame ritual will be just having a nice one-on-one talk with Coach Whitener. We we let them shoot around, we let them do their own warm up to mentally prepare by themselves. Uh, we'll go into the room, we'll talk over our game plan, we'll write our keys on a board, and then they'll come. We'll have our captains actually bring the kids in. So we try to like teach them to be like individuals and have leadership as well.
Absolutely. Favorite pregame meal? I already know the answer to this, but tell everybody what your favorite pregame meal is. I know you got to
Panda,
get on the bus early. That's exactly what I thought. What are you ordering from Panda?
Panda Express, orange chicken with rice.
Are you getting the bowl or are you getting the full plate with double sides?
That's right.
So as far as development and relationship and coaching basketball, what kind of things are you doing to develop as a coach this off season? It's a very weird off season. You have a lot more time, to yourself here, unfortunately. But what kinds of things do you do every off season to develop yourself as a coach?
I've been doing a lot of game film breakdown, watching a lot of our freshman games, seeing what we can improve on, seeing what mistakes we made, seeing a lot of the good things that we actually did too. Because I mean, you can also learn from the good things, not always learning from mistakes. Doing a lot of reading. Right now, I'm reading a book by Jay Billis on toughness. Um, Talking to you guys, Tassoni, Winters, other coaches. We were doing the coaches talks for a while there. Just staying engaged.
Okay. So we're obviously not with our players during this quarantine, and I would call it like a house arrest phase. What are some of your biggest concerns as we kind of get back into things, hopefully soon?
Biggest concerns is those that aren't buying into working and pushing themselves individually. Like it gets. I understand they're at home. They're probably bored out of their minds. And I mean, I remember being a 14, 15-year-old kid, it's just hard to get up and say, hey, go do some push-ups today. I
Yeah.
understand, but that's my biggest concern: who's not working and who's gonna come in flat-footed and not with strength.
Okay. Do you see any positives coming out of this? Maybe socially, basketball, anything?
Uh, I think a positive is that the kids are actually going to miss the game. They haven't been
I
around
agree.
it for so long that they'll miss. Hopefully, they'll miss it so much that they come into camp or whatever we may have in the summer hungry and ready to work.
Right on. Are you doing anything special, like in particular with the incoming freshman group, other than just, the workouts, or like, is there anything that you have going on, or anything maybe that you're thinking of wanting to implement here as we're on the quarantine stuff and I guess off-season stuff that maybe you do that you're altering to this stay at
I
home?
think, well, with the incoming freshman group, what I like to do is mirror a lot what varsity does. So they're used to being on one accord with the whole program. So if varsity is going to be doing their at-home workouts, freshmen is going to be told to do it too. And for the most part, I think the incoming freshmen have done a pretty decent job. I know it's been falling off here a little bit lately, but what do you expect again out of 14, 15-year-olds?
Right. It's pretty monotonous, same stuff over and over. It takes a lot of mental toughness there to keep up with that stuff. So if somebody walked into Coach Green's practice, what would they say about your team after staying for about 2 minutes?
They would say a very, very intense practice, but they also have a lot of fun. I
Okay.
think intensity would be the number one thing, though. The 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 past 2 seasons, these kids got after each other in practice, but they were still like family, and you can tell like how they play with each other on the court too.
Awesome. What's your favorite concept, basketball concept to coach at a practice, and why?
Defense, it's always defense for me. If you can score as many points as you want, but if you can't stop anybody, it's really hard to win games.
I
It,
agree.
defense, stealing extra possessions, getting rebounds, deflections. That I just love. I was always a defensive player growing up anyway, so that's probably why I
Okay.
love defense more.
What comes to your mind if I say take a charge?
This freshman group and Jace,
Jay,
the freshman group
I was,
and Jace, the
I was
guy who
hoping you're
took
going to hit
like
one of these and fall back out of your chair for a second.
right, the guy who took 40, felt like 45 charges in the month of June.
That was awesome.
No,
I agree.
when you say take a charge, to me, it really though, in all seriousness, it shows like what kind of mental toughness your team has though. Uh, it's not the easiest thing to take a charge, having somebody just bowl over you. But if you're mentally tough and you can do it, how many extra possessions do you steal? How many good players from the opposing team do you get in foul trouble? My my biggest fear going into the season was that we were going to be afraid to take charges, especially after the summer when Caden Klein broke his wrist taking a charge. I mean, a kid that's doing everything you ask him to do and freak accident breaks his wrist, but then he was like one of the first ones to still take a charge in
Yeah.
practice.
Yeah,
So
I was wondering how you guys as a team were gonna, respond to that, thinking, "Oh crap, I can get hurt doing this," and then everybody backs off, but they ate it up, man.
right, right. And that made me proud about almost over 75 plus charges taken in the season for a freshman group. That just shows the commitment that they actually bought in.
That's awesome. We're both kind of younger coaches here. I see some gray in your beard, and I'm starting to notice some gray on my face as well.
Hmm.
Um, what do you think that the game's missing today?
A lot of physicality. And again, I might be biased. I know the game has opened up more, um, but I'm a '90s kid. And now watching the documentary with the Bulls, You just watch how physical the game is or was. I used to be one of those kids on at the playground or in the backyard where me and my friends were almost in fights because the games were so physical. And now, like, a kid gets touched just a little bit and they're mentally weak. They're just not as tough as they used to be.
It's almost like they play for the foul, which I guess is a good tactic, but I mean, it's going to alter your shot mentally if you're playing for the foul rather than just playing to score. So I completely agree with that. I love that answer. You spoke to it a little bit earlier with your conversations with Coach Whitener before the game. You two have really, really solid chemistry. I know you guys have talked before about, you want to be together for a long time and stuff. What makes your assistant, Coach Whitener, so valuable to your team's success?
Well, number one, it's his humor. He keeps things so light for all of us, for our coaching staff, for the kids. Like, he will have you in tears laughing.
He's awesome.
But his knowledge for the game, and he'll tell you, "Oh, I'm not as smart as you guys when it comes to basketball," but his knowledge is like really, really good in basketball. He sees a lot of things that I'm not seeing, and
Right.
we click. And if you remember the Auburn game last year, he's not afraid to get after the kids either.
I do remember that.
He's not afraid to get after the kids. So I mean, he has a really good. We balance each other out. Where I'm usually the bad guy. He keeps things light.
That's awesome. I'm going to take you on a full court fast break here. I got about 11 or 12 questions. I'm just going to rapid fire. First thing that comes to your mind, all right?
All right.
Press or half court D?
Press.
Man or zone?
Man.
One word to describe a winning team?
Persistence.
One word to describe you as a coach?
Intense.
Not the best, but your favorite basketball player of all time?
Ray Allen.
Knew it.
Especially the Milwaukee days.
Oh, geez. Again, not the best, but your favorite athlete of all time?
Can I say Aaron Rodgers? I mean, I know in
Oh,
my mind,
geez.
he's the best.
He's not going to be a Packer after next year. You know that, right?
I know it breaks my heart.
We'll let you change that answer after next year. Uh, so first place that you're going to go after the stay-at-home order is lifted, not basketball-wise at all. First place you're going to go.
Harlem High School for
Not
basketball anyway.
not basketball at all. First place you're going to go.
Um, to a golf course.
We could go today. They're open today.
Can we? Wow.
Yeah. Favorite practice drill?
We call it a 175 drill. So it's a 3-man weave into a 2-man shot. They have 10 minutes. To start the season, we say you have 10 minutes to score 175 points. Every shot made is 1 point. So it's just a continuous push to pace, fast break type drill.
I like it. What basketball skill or concept isn't taught enough today in general?
I think ball handling.
Last book that you read, I think you touched on this earlier. Last book you finished. So you said you're doing Toughness by Billis right now, but what's the last book you finished?
Relentless.
Okay.
With a guy that trained Michael Jordan. That book is intense.
Yep. Last show that you and Jackie binge watched?
Black AF. Hashtag Black AF. I can't say what it means, but yeah, that.
On
That
Netflix?
is really what it's called though. It's on Netflix. It's hilarious.
Last place you and Jackie went for dinner before all this was over or started?
Prime quarter for her birthday.
And who was randomly there, like literally randomly there across the restaurant? Do you know? Do you remember?
It was Mike Whitener. It was weird. It
Again, you two
was
just have that
weird.
connection. One word or phrase that you say the most as a coach.
Are you kidding me? Or are you serious?
Do you remember the
According
last time
to
you? Go ahead.
according to Lathan's podcast yesterday, it was get on the line. So apparently I say get on the line a lot too.
I'll bet that follows. Are you serious? I bet it goes. Are you serious? Get on the line, and that's all that he remembers is get on
Probably.
the line. Okay. Last question before we wrap up here. This isn't rapid fire. It's not fast break, so you can give a solid response to this. When you were told that we're getting our play, or when we're told that we're getting our players back, what's the first thing that you plan on doing? Is it going to be getting in
Given,
the gym? Okay.
oh, it's definitely getting in the gym, but it's also just telling them how much I missed them as a coach. Probably giving them all big hugs and stuff. I'm a big huggy type guy. Um, I don't getting all the kids back on board with what our goals are. I think this incoming freshman group has pieces. I think they also have big shoes to fill. I think our varsity team has potential to do really well, getting them all focused on what it takes to win. I know a lot of them say they want to win a regional again. I'm trying to go further than regionals.
I would agree. I heard that answer a couple times here, and I'm like, I hope that that's not our. It'd be nice, but I hope that that's not where our
Right,
mountain stops.
right.
Awesome. Well, thanks for taking the time to flip the script and sit in the interviewee chair here and let me interview you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
See ya.
See you.